coming up in this edition of the Bulletin?
With just 4 days to the December 2024 general election, we turn the spotlight on the Eastern region on today's edition of the Poll Talk.
Also in the Bulletin this evening, Member of Parliament for Ayawaso West Wogon, Lydia Al-Hassan, in hot waters as her contender from the NDC, John Seto Dumelo, petitions Office of the Special Prosecutor to investigate her over plots to unlawfully induce voters on election day, among others. Tonight on the Bulletin, we'll assess Monday's special voting, plus speak to Kodjo on the anomalies. Also, NDC Council of Elders cautioned governing NPP against attempts to foment trouble and engage in vigilantism ahead of the December polls.
And in 2020 respectively. The NPP does not play by the rules. The current dismal state of affairs in Ghana and the current call for change throughout the country have heightened interest in the election in 2020 respectively.
Well, stable, secure, and unbeatable. These are the adjectives currently used to describe the city as it appreciates against major trading currencies. We'll hear from Dr. Baumia, who says the city cumulatively performed better under the NPP than the NDC. But the leader of Movement for Change, Alan Kodjo Chamating, has slandered Kufuor-Addo-led government of doing little to address the country's economic crisis.
The economy is in crisis, and so whatever good things the president has done, the MPP has done, it will not matter in this election. Demonstrated the capacity to be able to turn it around, and that's where the difference.
And on campaign trail tonight, Tutuwaa.
We speak to the president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Albert Kwabena Jumfo, on the media's preparedness ahead of the 2024 election. We have the details of these and many other stories making up this 1 hour broadcast. Do stay.
Starr News is coming to you live on Ultimate 106.9 FM in Kumasi, Empire 102.7 FM in Takoradi, Cool 103.5 FM in Ho, Rage and Might FM in Tamale, Somali FM in Wa, My Star Radio in the USA. Also live on Facebook on Starr 103.5 FM and on starfm.com.gh around the world. This is Starr 103.5 FM. Starr News is coming to you live on Ultimate 106.9 FM in Kumasi, Empire 102.7 FM in Takoradi, Cool 103.5 FM in Ho, Rage and Might FM in Tamale, Somali FM in Wa, My Star Radio in the USA. Also live on Facebook on Starr 103.5 FM and on starfm.com.gh around the world. This is Starr 103.5 FM.
Grateful for your company this evening and welcome aboard Ghana's most comprehensive news analysis program, Starr Today, here on Starr 103.5 FM. As usual, we're streaming live on Facebook, so you can join us with your thoughts, your comments, your views and contributions on Facebook at facebook.com/Starr 103.5 FM. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah, and tonight I'm here with
Tutuwaa Danso. And today on the Bulletin, we shine the spotlight on the Eastern region, one of the two regions where special voting has had to be put on hold owing to some breaches at the printing center. And my colleague Emmanuel Ejabeng is here in the studios with me for the very latest on the dynamics that have been playing out in the Eastern region since Ghana started voting. Ejabeng, welcome to the studios and welcome to Poll Talk.
Thank you so much once again, Vanessa.
What is there to know about the Eastern region, especially in terms of their voting pattern?
Well, they make up close to 3 million people, so you'd be interested in that particular constituency, that particular region, and try to mash up and close up on the numbers over there. There are approximately 2,925,653 people over there. That's the entire population, not the voter population. That would come later. They have made up of 33 constituencies. The MPP, as of the last election, controls 25. the NDC controls 8 of the constituencies in that particular region. And it's predominantly an MPP controlled area.
That.
So the
How many
MPP,
constituencies?
33.
33.
The MPP has 25.
Okay.
The NDC has 8. And 2016, actually, the NDC had 6. So they've made a net gain of 2 on top of what they had in 2016.
Okay.
Now, if you look at the performance historically in that region, when it comes to the presidential elections, the MPP, the highest they've ever made out of the total votes is over 60%. That's 62.41%. That was in 2000. And the highest performance of the NDC there is around 43.61% in that particular region. But largely, the MPP controls the Eastern region, as I mentioned earlier. That is the general overview of the Eastern region. If you come to the parliamentary seats in 1996, when we don't want to talk about it, we talk about 2000 onwards, the MPP has predominantly maintained lead, increasing virtually every year, only in 2008 when they dropped. So in 2000, they had 17 seats. In 2004, they had 22 seats. In 2008, they dropped to 19 seats, and the NDC had 7 from their previous seats. And 2012, they increased from 19 to 26 seats. 2016, they increased to 27 seats. And then in 2020, they lost 2 seats to the NDC, and the NDC increased from 6 to 8 seats. Now, if you look at the entire Eastern region, as I mentioned earlier, it's predominantly MPP. The MPP has historically performed very well in constituencies like Ibuako North, Ibuako South, where Samuel Latachia was, Fantiako North, Akimoda. If you look at the NDC, they've been performing well in the Krobo area, Lower Manya Krobo, Upper Manya Krobo, Ilo Krobo. And if you look at the trends, as I mentioned earlier, the NDC has not done beyond 43.61%. They are always hovering around the 40s. Anytime they increase a bit, they actually win the elections. So in 2008, when they increased the percentage gain in that region, they won the elections. In 2012, when they increased it again, they actually did win the elections. In 2016 and 2020, when they went below the usual increases that they make, they lost the elections. But here's the trick. In 2020, they had a marginal increase of 2% to 38.08, and they still lost the election. And so it's you cannot conclusively say anytime they increase their margins, they win the election, because per data is not consistent always. They have only managed to secure that twice. On the third attempt, it did fail. Let's look at some of the constituencies people might be interested in when it comes to the Eastern region. The first is Akwitia. It's
the mining constituency of Akwitia.
The diamond hub.
When I was young, anytime I heard Akwitia, diamond, bauxite, yeah. It's a swing constituency because the NDC...
It is part of the Achim state, right?
Yes,
the NDC... I'm an Achim, by the way.
You had to
indicate that you're an Achim. The NDC has won 4 times there. The MPP has won 3 times. I'd have to get the figure for 2008.
The NDC has won, 4 times in Akwitia?
Yes, the MPP,
has done 3
times. This is excluding 2008 data, which I'd have to scramble to get. But so that constituency is a swing constituency. In the year 2000, the gap was a bit wide between the MPP and the NDC. Now, if you look at from 2012 to 2020, the gaps has been lowered. So in 2012 was quite close. In 2016, when the MPP won convincingly, they gave the NDC a wide gap. In 2020, the gap between the MPP and the NDC was closed. And when it was closed, the NDC won. That was the dynamics in Akwitia.
Did they have anything to do with the Amase developments?
Would have to engage Kodjo answer on that.
I see.
Interesting.
But Kodjo, you heard about that. People were not happy that Amase wasn't contesting. I think she even decided to go independent, and Ken was in that constituency. There was a mega health work, but still, it looks like Alpha.
It could flip easily because in 2020...
Flip to whose side?
Anyway. anywhere, sorry, because in 2020 the gap between the MPP and the NDC was just 241, and there's a seat that was won by the NDC.
Okay.
So if the NDC does not increase its gains and the MPP increases gains and solidifies its records in that particular constituency, it could easily flip.
Okay. My producer is just telling me there was an independent candidate from the NPP side.
So it will affect it.
That's in 2020.
So if in this particular cycle, the party has been able to, like what they did with Ken Ofori-Atta, Ken Ejapon, able to bring all the people who are disgruntled and bring them together, maybe they will have a solidified front to push beyond that and close the match. But then the NDC won in 2020. The footprints of the current MP would have to ask Kodjo and Starr. That dynamics would also come to play, because at the constituency level, usually we look at data and we think, oh, people are not happy about the economy, they are not happy with this. But at the constituency level, people are concerned more of what they are seeing their MP do.
Yeah.
So if the member of parliament is in their faces, maybe he's an NDC person, but he's not able to even marshal anything from, let's use Okujeto. It's a very extreme case, but let's use him. He doesn't rely on government resources to do anything in his constituency. He does everything virtually through his own efforts. So if you have a member of parliament in a constituency who is, let's say, an NDC person, and the government of the day being MPP, if truly he's able to put himself in the face of the people and is able to put out the works they want to see, he's likely to retain it, whether or not there is an independent factor or no independent factor. Upper West Akim, that is the constituency of Frederick Obeng, the current Deputy Minister for Transportation.
Okay.
The MPP won that seat for the first time in 2020. Historically, it's a seat that has belonged to the NDC.
See.
So he was the one to break the dominance of the NDC in the Upper West Akim constituency, and he did that with over 1,500 votes. He won with some 1,667, but less than a 5% margin. So that particular constituency, people would have to pay close attention to see what happens over there.
That's Upper West Akim.
Upper West Akim.
Okay.
Esio Jaman. Esio Jaman.
That place there, if we go there, we get visa.
Straight visa, straight one.
You don't have to stress. America has straights.
Yeah.
So
it's the interesting part is that, I mean, the PCs are washing people's clothes among others.
See, I never
But the washing
benefited
is
from
only
that.
there. In Domkwabin, it happened.
See,
It happened in Domkwabin,
let's spend like 30 seconds to talk about this. I never benefited from that. I was waiting for a PC to come to my house to help me with my laundry.
Nobody showed up.
Nobody showed up.
You which constituency?
Lekuma West.
Are you
You expecting Esla to come and wash your
or Reverend to come and
wash your clothes?
You're not serious.
Tutuwaa, please.
You know what? We'll spend 30 seconds on this. Let's go back to the
Let's just end it there. We beg you. So, Monsieur Jaman, you would say it's NDC controlled one way or the other. The NDC won 1992, 96, 2000. They lost in 2004, won back in 2008. They lost in 2012, won back 2016 and 2020. So every time the NDC actually lost that seat, they bounced back.
Right.
Except for two. Oh yeah, actually there's the same thing. So anytime they lost, they bounced back. So now that they have not lost, we don't know what would happen. But it's a constituency that people would want to pay attention to. Omani Buama has gone there.
Pius has in fact indicated that it is time to change stuff.
Well, if you look at the margin for 2020, if you look at the margin, it's something that maybe he can close it up.
What is the margin?
Let me quickly pull
but
up.
that's where the challenge also is, because looking at also the candidate and the conversation surrounding the candidate, you cannot take that away from his chances. I mean, yes, people will say yes, he was cleared and all of that, but we've still not seen the report.
Exactly.
And that is one of the things that the NDC is also campaigning
on.
I've heard Malik talk heavily on that. Okay, he says he would do he will not be able to do this. Now, when we come to power, in fact, he will be one of the first people in January 2025 who would have to be facing the courts and all of that. So that conversation could also have an impact on this campaign.
You'd be worried if your member of parliament is going to spend a couple of years behind bars.
MP from jail.
Yes, and it's something that you don't want to be interested in. So in 2020, like I told you, the gap was less than 5%, and the difference per numbers between the NDC and the MPP was just 1,238.
You say just.
Just, I mean, it can be closed.
Right.
If you look at from whence they came from, the NDC and the MPP, and look at the inroads the MPP has made, they've managed to move from a gap of more than 10,000 to a gap of 1,000.
1,000. That's significant.
So they can easily
That's significant.
Close it.
exactly. So maybe Pius, maybe you should go there.
Maybe giving us visas to America.
And he says, well, he already has companies in the constituency that are doing that, helping the youth.
I'm not
to
holding
secure
brief for
jobs.
him, but that video.
As for the brief,
We
then we'll
listen,
see whether
we
you
don't
hold or not.
judge.
Yeah. So the next constituency that we should be looking out for is
Right.
the Fantiakwa North
Fantiakwa North.
constituency. The gap between the NDC and the MPP in that particular constituency was less than 500.
It could be anybody's for the taking.
It could be anybody. Anybody at all.
Dominantly, who has laid claim to that constituency?
Dominantly, the constituency has been held on to by the MPP.
Right.
So they have led in that constituency.
And in 2020, the NDC led with just 500 votes.
Yeah. The MPP still controls it.
Yeah.
But you see,
The margin.
the margin keeps
Is what
on
has
closing.
dropped.
So you see, if you're having a constituency where it's the same thing we did for Isio Jaman, came from 10,000 to
All the way to 1,000.
Now, if you manage to move from whatsoever number and now the gap is just 379, there's cause to be worried. So there's a constituency as well that you'd want to pay attention to and see how much of an inroad you can make. So the MPP would want to solidify their win over there. The NDC would say, well, it's a 379 gap. We can just close it up with the right candidate, with the right strategy. And so, yeah, the Eastern region is controlled by the MPP, no doubt about it. They'll make more than 60% of the votes in that particular region.
Okay.
Right.
The rest is for the NDC as to whether they'll make enough to close up the margins that the MPP would have given them in other places. You get it? So if the MPP is leaving you more than 1 million in Ashanti region, you'd want to get more in places that the NDC is predominantly controlling, so that you'd be able to close up on the millions and the 500,000s and the hundreds of thousands that may be coming from your opponents. It's the same thing for the NDC when it comes to somewhere like the Volta region, where it's 1 million people. If the MPP is getting maybe 100,000, 200,000, that's a gap of 800,000. So that 800,000, you'll be looking for it to be closing those gaps in other regions where you want to say that you are controlling. That's the dynamics.
Okay. Briefly, what about the Ofuasi constituency?
Why are you so interested in
Kodjo
that?
That is my
constituency?
hometown, so I need to know.
But that is also my hometown.
I forgot.
Eish. Me, that's not my hometown.
So Ofuasi Ayerbi
But it looks
constituency,
good for Kodjo, doesn't it?
it looks good for him. It looks good for him. If you look at from whence he came now, last cycle he did over 60% of the votes over there, and that's a lot. That's more than 20,000. The next person that came close, that was the NDC candidate, had around 12,000 or so votes. So he gave a gap of 10,000 or more in that particular constituency. So it's like a clear win for him, because if you look at the trend as well, from 2004, the NPP has predominantly controlled that seat. The NDC has not come close to closing the margin.
Okay.
Not at all. In fact, if I look at the data from 2004, the NDC has not even closed the margin to the point where you say, oh, the NDC closed the margin by 5,000 votes. They have not. Predominantly, it's MPP. So it looks like an easy win for Kodjo Nkrumah. It's
Our
like
hometown.
it's more than probable that he is going to retain that particular seat
It is possible.
Of course.
to reset.
Hey.
No, we are just saying so we have a balance. So yeah, it is possible.
For
Yes.
Kodjo Nkrumah.
But it's also possible that the NDC, you may not know, anything could happen in
Anything.
elections.
I mean,
as well.
elections, clearly. Clearly.
You don't trust delegates and voters.
I see. I'm just seeing something interesting from my producer. He wants to know about the Kiapem North. We have a new face, Samir Uku. they call him Kapo or something like that. He's Kapo, right?
Yeah. NLA boss.
Yes.
Why did you have to bring in the NLA boss?
Oh no, I mean you cannot take that away from him.
Of course.
Because whether I like it or not, it is one of the things that has really brought him to the spotlight
he's given
more. Yeah.
the NLA some, facelifts, if you ask me. So
Yeah.
it's important that we mention that.
And we are also here.
Anything can happen.
In the Kapim North constituency,
Anything can happen.
With
where
some people
where anything means.
Anything can happen.
So
But do you think Dokia
It is
being
possible
in that
to reset.
constituency did Dokia's presence in that constituency do any magic for the NPP? I know you want to play it safe, but just
You see, when it comes to constituency level, sometimes the data could be telling you something.
okay.
But that's why I always maintain that the residents there have a better understanding of their MP. So the data could even point to a factor saying that, oh, this is the trend, so this person is likely to win. But then you go deep down and you engage the constituents, you realize that.
The conversations are different.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I would very much appreciate if we could pull Kodjo answer on this particular one. Because it's one thing to look at the data, it's one thing to look at what the constituents are saying.
Okay.
So for some places, I'd like to play safe. You don't know who's going to catch the bite and put it somewhere. So let's play safe.
Okay, Abetifi. That's Brian Champon's constituency.
Oh, he will win it.
I mean, that for me is like a no-brainer.
Yeah, he will definitely control that constituency no matter what happens. It's a win for him. No matter what happens. No matter what happens, he will definitely win that particular constituency. It's no brainer. It's no brainer that Brian Champon will win that particular constituency. If you look at his performance over time, if you look at what he has done in that particular constituency, plus his MPP controlled, he gave the person he contested with in 2020 more than a 15,000 gap.
15,000.
Yes, he did 25,000. The person did 9,000.
Oh.
So it's a win for him. And it's predominantly controlled by the NPP. The only time the NDC ever came close was in 1996. And even now, the NPP still won. So far as he remains on the seat and he decides to contend as the member of parliament, he's still winning that seat.
Okay.
So it's a sure bet and it's a safe bet to say. And it's more than probable to say that Brian Champon is winning that constituency.
Okay. What about in Kodjo?
And it's a Danso. You're turning me into a poster.
You are the one that is always eating, breathing, drinking the numbers. So I need to know.
In Kodjo constituency.
We heard some time back in the news that the NPP's parliamentary candidate there, or the MP there, wasn't too well.
But you know what happened in the US? When Donald Trump survived an assassination attempt, what did they do to him? People have had cause to say that it tipped the polls in his favor. So, and if you look at the data as well, it's not a constituency where you will say that the NDC has a major hold over there. It's largely an MPP-controlled seat. So, whether or not the member of parliament was well or he was unwell, it is safe to say that our constituency, unless the matters on the ground tells different story, but it's safe to say, and it's a likely event that the MPP will win a Kodjo again.
Okay.
Because the NDC's performance, so assuming the margins, I always want to look at the margins. If the margin was close, 2,000, 3,000, if it's less than 5,000, you can say there can be a toss-up. But if you are looking at a gap that is beyond 10,000,
how do you even do that?
it tells you that the people there, they have an inclination, and naturally they tend to toe a certain line when it comes to the political divide. So you don't even have to be a magician to say that this seat is going to the MPP, this seat is going to the end. But if it's a margin that is less than 5%, then you have cause to worry, to say that it can be tossed up.
Okay.
Or if there is a constituency where there is public information, widespread knowledge that the member of parliament is up to something that is no good. So people could easily assume that no matter the gains made by the party over there, no matter the inroads made over there, the opposition could win.
Okay.
So a constituency like Dom Kwabena is MPP, but at a point people had cause to worry when Adjoa Safo was not available and all of that, because people felt like she's not in the face of her own constituents.
Okay.
So then again, the factor of being in the face of your constituents matters.
Please, right?
And then the factor of the margins, if it's less than 5%, and you, the candidate, you're not a strong candidate for the opposition or the party in power, then you're likely not to make any significant gain.
Okay, let's touch briefly on Suhum. You know, the NDP's parliamentary or member of parliament there is going independence now.
It would affect their numbers in a way.
Affect the fortunes of the NPP.
Yes, it's something that has happened consistently in the country. Whenever you have a candidate who is supposed to have won a primary and feels like he or she has been disenfranchised, and so he finds the need to go independent, it affects the fortunes of the party. Then again, the margins that I talk about comes to play. If you look at Suhum, in the last electoral cycle, 25,000 for the MPP person, 20,000 for the NDC person.
That's about 5,000.
Yes. So if you have someone with such commanding power saying that I'm going independent, then it means that the 5,000 is now, the 25,000 is going to be split between those who are loyal to the party and those who are loyal to the MP. So the NDC can win.
That's a very dicey one.
Yes.
It's a very, very dicey one.
So if the margins were huge, then you could say, oh, it's still a safe bet, 15,000. It's just 5,000, 25,000 as compared to 20,000. 25,000 as compared to 20,000. And you are seeing the incumbents saying, I'm not happy with the party. And you see, what we are forgetting about political messaging when it comes to incumbents who go independent is the fact that they always make a statement of claim that the party didn't treat them well. So anyone who feels like, it's my party in power, I'm supposed to get this, I didn't get this, may not necessarily be on the camp of the MP, but because the MP is saying, party now, mommy, and all of those kind of things, it sways the voter. It will surprise you that we are less than 5 days to the election. Today is 4 or 3. We have a lot of floating voters still available. So it could easily swing and sway to the favor of the opposition.
That would be a big blow for the NPP.
Yeah, but if the MPP candidate is very strong, as happened in the case of the Deputy Speaker of Parliament.
Fomena.
Yes. They can always win. They would win going independent because those people, let's assume a very wild scenario. Dom Kwabena. Let's use Sarah and let's use Michael Okwe Jr. People are not happy with Sarah Adjoa Safo and feel like she was not there to be for them as an MP over the course of, and all the reasons that she gave, we have already heard it. But assuming that Sarah goes against Michael Okwe, Tutuwaa, what do you think would happen? Just give a wild guess. Assuming Sarah decided to go independent as against Michael Okwe Jr., do you think Mike will win?
No, I don't think so.
Exactly. So
because you see, no matter what has happened, she's loved in that constituency.
Exactly. So if the MP, Frederick Opariansa, is loved by the people over there, he could win and the MPP lose the seat. But then, given what we have seen in the 8th Parliament,
you can't really tell. Because it's possible that if he wins as an independent candidate, the party may approach him and say that, you know what, we apologize for not treating you fairly, but come back home.
I don't know who will be the speaker, but maybe we'll not have to worry about vacancy declaration.
Certainly.
So that is it for the Suhum constituency. It's some 50
Oh, the current
for.
MP is Kodjo Boafo.
Yes, Kodjo Boafo. So yeah, so that's it. And like I mentioned earlier, the MPP has predominantly been doing so well
in the Eastern region.
Yeah,
and they are likely to poll over 60% of the votes in that region as well.
So I was even,
despite the dynamics we are seeing.
So for the earlier data that I gave you concerning Kodjo,
Yes.
I said 25,000.
25,000.
That was he actually did 34,000. And the NDC
As
person
against the NDC?
who did 19,000.
Oh. I mean, are we likely to see an independent candidate from the...
If he is going independent and he has over 60% of the votes over there, the MPP will not get that seat.
That is almost double what the NDC candidates polled.
Yes. 19,000,
As against 34,000.
34,000. So the gap is really huge. But and then again, but that's a disadvantage to the MPP. If the NDC person maintains 19,000 and then the MPP person and the Kodjo splits
the
that vote,
34,000.
the NDC has won.
Imagine they get 12,000. No, that would be no. Let's do the math well. 16,000 or 17,000
Yes.
each. 17,000, right?
Yeah,
and the NDC gets 19,000
as they perform. If they decide to go the same tangent they went.
Wow.
So let's see how it goes. But then historically, the data has proven that it's a seat that the MPP has dominated since 2000.
Okay.
So let's see how it goes in this
thank you
particular
very
electoral
much.
cycle.
What are we doing tomorrow?
Greater Accra region.
Okay. Oh.
Yes, the Greater Accra region.
Okay, I'm really looking forward to that. But thank you very much for joining us here for the.
I'm sure you're only concerned about your constituency.
Danso man, yeah, that's me.
Whether Esla is winning or not. But are you voting?
No, I'm not voting. This question.
I just wanted to tease you again.
Well, that has been it for the poll talk. But let's still stay in the Eastern region because the Eastern Regional Wing of the opposition, NDC, has taken the Electoral Commission on for attempting to destroy some 3.6 million ballot papers meant for the region without notifying the party. While the party is also unhappy with the delays in replacing the burnt papers, the elections management body, in collaboration with the police, burnt ballot papers meant for 31 out of the 33 constituencies in that region. Following a leakage, my colleague Kodjo has the details.
Process or the exercise was supervised by the Electoral Commission and the Ghana Police Service, as well as stakeholders of this election.
The distraction followed reports of security breaches concerning the ballot papers. Eastern Regional EC Director John Efia described the exercise as successful and assured the public that new ballot papers are expected in time for the Eastern Regional Special Voting on Thursday, December 5, 2024, and the general election on Saturday.
You could see by yourself that the exercise has been very, very successful. It brought all the parties together, MPP, NDC, their regional executives, the district executives, constituency executives, all of them have been here. And together, we offloaded the ballot paper. We checked the seals. They were satisfied with it before we offloaded them. And now we are burning them. So they are all satisfied.
The Eastern Regional Wing of the opposition, NDC, is unhappy with the process of destroying the papers without informing the party. Jamali Kone is the Eastern Regional Secretary of the NDC.
From day one, the EC has never been truthful, faithful, and actually playing with us. All they do is to conceal and clandestinely do things without our knowledge, especially this very one. If you want to discard rejected ballot papers, at least communicate to our national executive. They will also communicate to us. But you can't send, a WhatsApp message. It was a WhatsApp message sent to their platforms. It wasn't even a statement officially addressed to the district offices.
The party is also unhappy with the delays in replacing the destroyed ballot papers.
We don't know exactly when the new ballot papers will come. Even the EC officer, they don't know. And we are supposed to conduct the special vote on Thursday. Today is Tuesday. We have only one day, that is Wednesday, to decide whether or to know whether the special voting will really come on as scheduled on Thursday. Now all our constituency officers are going back. We don't know when they will call them back. The stress is too much.
The Eastern Regional Wing of the governing New Patriotic Party were, however, absent during the destruction of the ballot papers. The EC has, however, assured stakeholders of its commitment to delivering a transparent and credible election process despite the setback.
Your friend Mary and Pomado Film Fife, I say, Obosumche constituency. Yamiadum 2016 MPP bar bemu, and a fair education buyer. Me Tina has say, Mammy, a trader, and Papa and so a mason. Me when you are no munsia, Mina mitosunsia. Senior free SHS and come to me in good school. Yamiadum met me a school. I am a permanent free exams hall because Medeka. Nasa metimi enya asumdue edi akọ school esunyade apa se me wasi examsa na MPP adaroma me amejira mini engineer medical e o mebusuam enye MPP adaroma anka mentimi anko school ambe engineer enye free SHS nso adaroma anka mentimi so ambe engineer entimi maame no maamo wasi mesramu muma yentu aba emadakba umia December 7th yenko ne yenko to aba yenfa yetumi nko yi amanpenfo a omoba omobebe ye manye amanpenfo omodwene ye daache ho amanpenfo omodwene daache nchirima ho mesramu medamase
muma ye moye mabunu daache ho ban wo bra ye to aba ma number 1 December 7th to aba ma ba omia radike bi babio radikasa mama guma
The presidential and parliamentary elections 2024.
The Electoral Commission of Ghana is constitutionally mandated to conduct presidential and parliamentary elections on Saturday, 7 December 2024. Voting will start at 7 a.m. prompt and end at 5 p.m. Please report at the polling station as early as you can to cast your vote. Bring along your voter ID card so you can easily be identified. Even if you don't have your voter ID card, still go to the polling station. A name reference list officer will check your particulars in the names reference list. A verification officer will verify your identity as a registered voter with a verification device. You will be issued a presidential ballot paper. Please check to see that there are no marks on it. Also, ensure it has a validation stamp at the back. Make your way to the voting booth. Thumbprint correctly your choice of presidential candidate and cast your vote. Proceed to the next polling assistant for a parliamentary ballot paper. Make your way to the voting booth. Thumbprint correctly your choice of MP and cast your ballot. Please leave the polling station after casting your ballot. You may return at the close of polls for counting of ballots. Have a say in issues that affect you. Exercise your right to vote.
Your vote is your future. Let us gather here.
Eja, but why have you called us all here?
His Excellency John Dramani Mahama says he is coming to introduce a 24-hour economy policy that will ensure round-the-clock operations by businesses and government organizations to enhance productivity, boost production, and create millions of decent, well-paying jobs.
24-hour economy? Can you enlighten us?
Oh, simple. GM wants organizations with huge customer traffic like DVLA, passport office, ports, customs, as well as private businesses like agro-processing factories, industries, sanitation, construction companies to run 3 shifts of 8 hours each. For private businesses, Mahama will give them security support services, tax incentives, financing support, and cheap and reliable power. This is what we call Formula 133.
But what formula is that?
It simply means 1 job, 3 shifts, 3 people. Simple.
Wow, this is indeed a game changer.
Formula 133. Oh, yeah, baby.
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the round 2 of the quiz show. And these are the questions. Which party introduced the National Health Insurance Scheme? Yes, Kwete.
MPP.
Correct for 3 points. Which party introduced the school feeding program to provide meals for school children in primary schools? Yes, Genfi.
NPP.
Correct for 3 points. Which party introduced the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty? LEAP. Yes, Bawa.
NPP.
Correct for 3 points. Which party introduced the free senior high school? That's the free SHS. Yes, Kwete.
MPP.
Correct for 3 points. Who has promised the youth in Kukon Kitinkiti business similar to a confirmed that flew to Burkina Faso? Yes, Bawa.
John Mahama.
John Mahama is also correct. Which party has constructed more roads within 8 years? Yes, Kwete.
MPP.
Correct for 3 points. Which government addressed the problem of getting emergency drug, blood, and vaccine delivery to remote parts of Ghana?
NPP.
NPP is also correct. Mention at least 3 interventions of Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia as the Vice President.
Digital Property Address System, Mobile Money Interoperability, Medical Drones, Zongo Development Fund.
I asked for only 3, and that's correct. Mention at least 4 interventions of John Mahama as the Vice President. Kwete.
0.
0 is correct. NPP and NDC, who has more social interventions? Bawa.
NPP.
NPP is also correct for 3 points.
So, who will you vote for on December 7th?
Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia.
On December 7th, let's vote number 1. Let's vote for Dr. Bawumia. Estroho.
Your game is weak. Just like your party's policies. No wonder you are heading straight to the opposition this election.
Come on, bro. With your 24 hours something, are you trying to say the chop bar will be 7 before at 12 midnight?
And you, with your digitalization talk, how is that going to help the chop bar woman sell more fufu and soup? Are we going to use credit card at the chop bar?
Hey, you two, enough of this back and forth wahala. Politics and governance isn't just about manifestos and empty promises. It demands a comprehensive plan. That's why Alan Shematin is bringing the Great Transformational Plan, GTP. Listen, the GTP is about real change. It is built on 6 key clusters. First up, the economic cluster. This is about fixing the economy, creating jobs, supporting local businesses, particularly small businesses, and helping our farmers, fishermen, and those in tourism to grow. Next is the governance cluster. Under this, Alan is focused on fighting corruption, strengthening our institutions, and ensuring transparency. No more shady deal. It is also about deepening local governance and decentralization.
Wow.
Wait, there's the infrastructure cluster. We are talking about better roads, railways, reliable energy, digital services, and real housing for all. Not just empty talk. The social services cluster also focuses on healthcare, quality education, and support for the youth and the vulnerable. Everyone deserves a fair chance. And the environment cluster is about managing our natural resources to create wealth, addressing climate change, and promoting sustainable environmental practices. We want to leave a clean Ghana for the next generation. Finally, the behavioral and mindset change cluster highlights how we Ghanaians can realize a change in conduct to be better and more responsible citizens. Imagine this: jobs, quality healthcare, real education, and leadership with integrity. That's true transformation.
Ali, the GTP is indeed a game changer. Wow. So where can I get a copy?
Don't worry, I will get you one. So I ask you, when I say vote Alan Shematin, what do you say?
Starr today, first, fast, and credible.
You're welcome back from the break. This is still Starr today here on Starr FM. I'm Tutuwaa Danso. From the Eastern region, let's come to the Greater Accra region because the NDC parliamentary candidate for the Ayawaso West Wogon, John Seto Dumelo, has today petitioned the Office of the Special Prosecutor to investigate the MP for that constituency, Lydia Sarah Malhassan, over allegations of voter inducement in the just-ended special voting and alleged plots to escalate the inducement on election day, where the complaint filed by Benjamin Avonyoche, who identifies as polling agents for John Dumelo, accuses the incumbent MP of handing over white plastic bags to men and women who had queued to cast their ballots in the special voting exercise yesterday, while they thus want the OSP to bring Lydia Alhassan and her followers to book. Let me read a statement he released earlier today where he says that this afternoon at about 1 p.m., my team filed a criminal complaint against Miss Lydia Seramal Hassan, the sitting MP for our beloved constituency, Ayawaso West Wogon, at the office of the special prosecutor. Now, the complaint entails video recordings of various conducts by Miss Lydia Seramal Hassan, which we believe breach our criminal and electoral laws. My team also gave material information on plots by Miss Lydia Seramal Hassan to unlawfully influence voters on a larger scale come December 7, 2024, when the main election will be held. Now, we expect the OSP to take immediate and decisive steps to not only prevent the Miss Lydia Seramal Hassan from repeating the unlawful behavior, but also to bring her and her accomplices to book. It goes without saying that how the OSP handles our complaints between today and Friday, December 6, will determine the quality of Saturday's election. This is a statement that John Dumelo, the parliamentary candidate for the Ayawaso West constituency, West Wogon constituency, on the tickets of the NPP release. We're trying to have a conversation with him on the back of that, but unfortunately, he's not answering our calls now. But meanwhile, political scientist at the University of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante, is calling for the immediate arrest of the Ayawaso West Wogon MP, Lydia Seramal Hassan. He spoke to Nadi Deteti on Morning Star earlier.
That was a wrong move by a member of parliament who was supposed to know better. I mean, imagine the ordinary man had done that. The police would have gone for him or her. So why did he do that? And what's the meaning of that? I can't get it. Imagine Dumelo also took the position that he was also going to share food. The place would have turned into chaos. But that is what we call an equal playing field. That why is the honorable member of parliament working as a free person? He must be arrested. Because if you were an ordinary man who did that, you would have been arrested. Right now, if something happened in another camp, another person does that, would the security people got the courage to arrest the person? And these are the signals that we don't want. In election, equal playing field must be established so that we all do the needful. We all do what is right. Because once we allow people, because of their position, because of their status in society, to go against the rules of the game, I'm afraid you undermine the credibility and the sanctity of the elections. And you and I do not want to be in that regard. It is just unfortunate.
In subsequent interviews, she did say that she did not do that, even though there were videos all over the place showing her in the video as people that were with her were sharing the food. At the moment, the special prosecutor is investigating the case in question. As we understand it, they said his officers were on ground to speak to reporters and people who are around, among others. Good move?
It's a good one. But as to whether it will be carried to its logical conclusion is another thing. In Ghana, what I have seen over the years is that things that are warriors, especially things that affect elections, we talk about that. As soon as the election is peaceful, we end it. Matter close. And for me, that's where the worry is. Of course, the next election, the same problem will come and stay in our faces, and we have no solution. So from one election to another, we always introduce certain variables that undermine the quality and the credibility of elections. And that, for me, going forward, we must nip it in the bud. It's not a good sign.
That was Dr. Asah-Asante, political scientist. But let's go over the phone lines now and have a conversation with Albert Ahen. He's the national coordinator of the Coalition for Domestic Election Observers, Kodjo. Mr. Ahen, thank you very much for joining us here on the bulletin. Now, incidents of alleged voter inducement, personnel taking shots of ballot papers, were you really surprised by these happenings?
Yes, I'm really surprised, my dear lady. Let me say good evening to your listeners first. I'm surprised because these things have been happening in other West African countries, and I never thought we could have same occurring in our country. We used to talk about it. I have seen it myself in some countries that are big. But it's surprising that it is being done here in Ghana. As our reporters are saying, some people were taking snaps, not pictures of their ballots. Apparently, I'm sure they were going to use it to collect other monies or something. It's really sad, and we need to nip it in the bud. It's not going to help our democracy, don't listen.
But Doc, I just need some clarity on this development. So when a member of parliament or a parliamentary candidate for a certain constituency decides to refresh her constituent on election day, does that necessarily constitute voter inducement?
It depends on what refreshment you are talking about. You remember there was this one at Ejiso where somebody was giving some money in envelopes and not to agents, but to the polling assistant. That one is bad.
Right.
This refreshment you are talking about can be done, but it should be outside the premises of the polling station.
Okay.
Look, I have seen the video of holding, is it a bag of food or whatever it is, at the polling station. I think it's like when you finish voting, then they give you a pack. It has never happened in this country. And that is what in election parlance we call treating. It's not only money that you give to people that will be termed as vote buying or something, but there's something we call treating. It's an electoral offense and it's punishable.
Let's talk about what happened in the Dom Kwabinga, for instance, where Ajosafo was clearly seen sharing yogurts. Would you consider that as voter inducement? And in this case, where Lydia was sharing packs of food?
You mean packs of food and yogurt at the time of the voting?
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? At the time of voting?
Yes.
Yes, anything that is shared to influence anybody voting is under the term treating. And it's an electoral offense. It's an electoral offense. You see, you can be doing these things outside the premises of the polling station. Fine. And when you get to the premises, the polling station is the arena where somebody is in a queue going to vote. Or maybe after voting, you give that thing to the person. It is called treating. And it is an offense under the law.
Right. So, on the back of that, what do you think is the punitive measure that should be meted out to her?
There are laws pertaining to these things. There are electoral offenses. And I'm surprised because there are policemen stationed at all these centers where this voting was taking place. At the place where you saw the people using the packages of food and whatever, there were policemen there. There are laws, and if anybody is arrested and taken to the police station, there will be the requisite punishment that should go with it.
So that's the surprising thing here, because people say that despite, the fact that there was security personnel there, they still watched aloof and allowed the act to continue. So does it really send a right signal, especially because we are headed for the major election in about 4 days?
It's a wrong signal. It's sending a wrong signal. And in fact, this is giving us an indication that we need to really go deep into teaching people about election offenses. I'm sure people will say that they are ignorant of it, but ignorance of the law is no excuse. There are election offenses, and I'm sure maybe we need to all of us come together and talk about it for the public to know. Because when you go, there was one where people went into the booth, took pictures of how they voted, and came out with it. That is also something that is occurring in this country. It used to happen in other places. It's now wearing its only head in Ghana, and it's terrible.
Right.
So it should be condemned in no uncertain terms.
Thank you very much for your time this evening. I've been engaging Albert Ahin. He's the national coordinator of the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, Kodjo. Away from that, let's go to the quarters of the NDC, because the party's Council of Elders has issued a stern warning to the New Patriotic Party to refrain from any acts of vigilantism ahead of this Saturday's election. According to the Council of Elders, they have picked credible information which points to plans by the NPP to use party foot soldiers as national security operatives on election day. Now, chairman of the NDC's Council of Elders, Dr. Mahama Idrisu, said the NDC will not tolerate such acts. He further emphasized the importance of maintaining peace and order during the election period and urged the Electoral Commission to ensure a free, fair and credible election, expressing concern over the Commission's perceived bias against the NDC.
Mahama joined other contestants in signing a pact to work in the interest of peace. The antecedents of the NPP government, where elections are concerned, are nothing to write home about. The recent signing of a peace accord was a step in the right direction. However, it remains to be seen whether the government is genuinely committed to it. We keep reading and hearing of plans to cause mayhem and carry out atrocities similar to what happened in Ayawaso and Teshman in 2019 and in 2020 respectively. The NPP does not play by the rules. The current dismal state of affairs in Ghana and the clarion call for change throughout the country have heightened interest in the election in 2020 respectively, and is likely the most likely outcome. Does not play. The government is desperate. It knows it's on its way out. The days are not current. This much is the affairs in Ghana possible, and the clarion call for change throughout the country concerns of heightened interest in the election.
Still on the NDC, the former president, John Dramani Mahama, has denied any involvement in the alleged attack on the Asante-Hene's convoy in Techiman, distancing himself from the incident and describing the accusations as fake news orchestrated by the government, while the incident reportedly occurred in Techiman on Monday, December 2, when some youth believed to be from one area threw stones at the buses in the convoy, causing damages and injury to some passengers. While speaking during a cursory call on the Asante-Hene at the Mensah Palace, the NDC flag bearer condemned the attack, stressing that neither he nor the NDC had any role in that violence. Take a listen to
it will be a friend fake news. It made a barefoot computer. And you be a bit because I'm not sorry, I'm a back phone. So I had a picture at Tarivo. And I can send a family and almost a computer. So I can send me anymore. Now, so the seat of government in the movie, our more department or what Umejumani says are fake news. No, Omode Etuja. I'm a baby story. Now, cramming. So, Becon Kranza a year. And see, the Bombay saying, I'm in for Comrade. I'm a baby story. Yes, I'm in my coffee and Kodjo or teaching my son to a ball. And bought or two for a. And I say campaign not to submit. I come and Trodi. Nana way you know evening. And so when you say Yanyamio Hatasri, Onimobia Kumu. Na onim say yes only they see him. Na me would say, Obeho Ghana Mobo. Say near Yemi Abeye, a cow Mobo Ghana. Esika sema say nyame ebe si henia obeboa ne asiesie saa ne mani na bibia abeye na Ghana for eboa.
That was the flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama. Up next on the broadcast is the campaign trail, but after this break.
Hey, Mapadi, so you still haven't gotten any job in the last 6 years?
Bro, I'm even getting depressed, Charlie. If you don't have any money to get trained in any skill, Charlie, you can't survive in this economy. Even those with big degrees are sitting at home.
There's good news coming. Have you heard of the National Apprenticeship Program?
National Apprenticeship Program?
Yes, John Mahama and the NDC will be launching a National Apprenticeship Program in 2025 to offer free technical and vocational training to all persons desirous of learning a craft.
Did you say free?
Yes, free technical and vocational training in carpentry, ceramics, welding, tiling, hairdressing, vulcanizers, fashion designing, electricals, POP, catering, and many others for young people who sign on to the program. People who complete the training will also be issued a certificate and provided with a startup capital and equipment to establish their own businesses.
Hey, you don't mean it.
You shock, eh? The National Apprenticeship Program is the hope of every unemployed Ghanaian.
Charlie, then we need to kick out these liars and nation wreckers and bring back JM. Because
vote for change. Vote for John Dramani Mahama and the NDC.
The presidential and parliamentary
elections 2024.
The Electoral Commission of Ghana is constitutionally mandated to conduct presidential and parliamentary elections on Saturday, 7 December 2024. Voting will start at 7 a.m. prompt and end at 5 p.m. Please report at the polling station as early as you can to cast your vote. Bring along your voter ID card so you can easily be identified. Even if you don't have your voter ID card, still go to the polling station. A name reference list officer will check your particulars in the names reference list. A verification officer will verify your identity as a registered voter with a verification device. You will be issued a presidential ballot paper. Please check to see that there are no marks on it. Also, ensure it has a validation stamp at the back. Make your way to the voting booth. Thumbprint correctly your choice of presidential candidate and cast your vote. Proceed to the next polling assistant for a parliamentary ballot paper. Make your way to the voting booth. Thumbprint correctly your choice of MP and cast your ballot. Please leave the polling station after casting your ballot. You may return at the close of polls for counting of ballots. Have a say in issues that affect you. Exercise your right to vote.
Your vote is your future.
Your game is weak. Just like your party's policies. No wonder you are heading straight to the opposition this election.
Come on, bro. With your 24 hours something, are you trying to say the chop bar woman will be 7 before at 12 midnight?
And you, with your digitalization talk, how is that going to help the chop bar woman sell more fufu and soup? Are we going to use credit card at the chop bar?
Hey, you two, enough of this back and forth wahala. Politics and governance isn't just about manifestos and empty promises. It demands a comprehensive plan. That's why Alan Shematin is bringing the Great Transformational Plan, GTP. Listen, the GTP is about real change. It is built on 6 key clusters. First up, the economic cluster. This is about fixing the economy, creating jobs, supporting local businesses, particularly small businesses, and helping our farmers, fishermen, and those in tourism to grow. Next is the governance cluster. Under this, Alan is focused on fighting corruption, strengthening our institutions, and ensuring transparency. No more shady deal. It is also about deepening local governance and decentralization.
Wow.
Wait, there's the infrastructure cluster. We are talking about better roads, railways, reliable energy, digital services, and real housing for all. Not just empty talk. The social services cluster also focuses on healthcare, quality education, and support for the youth and the vulnerable. Everyone deserves a fair chance. And the environment cluster is about managing our natural resources to create wealth, addressing climate change, and promoting sustainable environmental practices. We want to leave a clean Ghana for the next generation. Finally, the behavioral and mindset change cluster highlights how we Ghanaians can realize a change in conduct to be better and more responsible citizens. Imagine this: jobs, quality healthcare, real education, and leadership with integrity. That's true transformation.
Ali, the GTP is indeed a game changer. Wow. So where can I get a copy?
Don't worry, I will get you one. So I ask you, when I say vote Alan Shematin, what do you say?
I say wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the round 2 of the quiz show. And these are the questions. Which party introduced the National Health Insurance Scheme? Yes, Kwete.
MPP.
Correct for 3 points. Which party introduced the school feeding program to provide meals for school children in primary schools? Yes, Genfi.
NPP.
Correct for 3 points. Which party introduced the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty? LEAP. Yes, Bauer.
NPP.
Correct for 3 points. Which party introduced the free senior high school? That's the free SHS. Yes, Kwete.
MPP.
Correct for 3 points. Who has promised the youth in Kukon Kitenkiti business similar to a confirmed that flew to Burkina Faso? Yes, Bauer.
John Mahama.
John Mahama is also correct. Which party has constructed more roads within 8 years? Yes, Kwete.
MPP.
Correct for 3 points. Which government addressed the problem of getting emergency drug, blood, and vaccine delivery to remote parts of Ghana?
NPP.
NPP is also correct. Mention at least 3 interventions of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia as the Vice President.
Digital property address system, mobile money interoperability, medical drones, Zongo Development Fund.
I asked for only 3, and that's correct. Mention at least 4 interventions of John Mahama as the Vice President. Kwete.
0.
0 is correct. NPP and NDC, who has more social interventions? Bawa.
NPP.
NPP is also correct for 3 points.
So, who will you vote for on December 7th?
Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia.
On December 7th, let's vote number 1. Let's vote for Dr. Bawumia. Estro Hope.
First, fast, incredible.
You're welcome back from the break. Well, this is your Simply the Best Star 103.5 FM, and EIB remains your election hub. Most definitely. It is now time to take Tonight, we sit with a media consultant who also holds the enviable position as the head of the Journalism Association in the country. He doubles as the head of corporate affairs at the Tobinco Group, and prior to his elevation to his current high office, served as the National Organizing Secretary of the Ghana Journalists Association. Now, he is known for his toughness and bold statements. No matter whose ox is God. And some journalists believe that he's awakened the sleeping giants after he, together with his current executives, rolled out a series of punitive measures against some politicians who had engaged in some violent acts against media persons. Election is just 4 days away from here, and we will attempt to unravel how the media ought to conduct themselves before, during, and after the polls. And seated here in the studios to help us do that is the charismatic Albert Kwabena Jumfo, the president of the Ghana Journalists Association. Remember that we are live on Facebook on Star 103.5 FM. And on WhatsApp is via the number 055-288-0216. Again, it's 055-288-0216. Officially to the campaign trail, and as I said, my guest is already seated in the studios. It's good to see you, our boss, our president.
you know, when she was speaking, I was just thinking, what was going through my mind was somebody who has offended someone and wants to appease.
Oh my God!
And,
are we still on this?
So you see, so you could see the passion
with which you were saying it.
But I'm still not appeased. Anyway,
there's an underlying factor.
But I'm humbled. Anyway, I'm humbled.
Now, I want us to start off on this note, talking about how the media ought to conduct itself for the upcoming general election. I want to take your mind back to what happened, I think, last week, where the NPP launched the electric buses and said that the driver was a Kaya that had been recently trained from whatever training it is that he had held. And it looks like the media fell for it. Were you disappointed?
Of course, you see, we are in the era of misinformation, disinformation, malinformation. What is more threatening to our democracy is disinformation, which is intended to cause harm. And so we have been preaching and encouraging our members to always fact check. Sometimes the quickness and the hastiness to always come out of information is really, really what is hurting our democracy. But I can say that, you see, let me commend a station like EIB, who actually brought to bear recently when someone had addressed a press conference saying that he has won Guinness World World Record, and you understand. We and all of us fell to it until you brought to light that this was the whole thing. You see, for instance, just recently there was a memo circular from the Electoral Commission that was sent to me by one of my chairpersons, real chairpersons. When I saw it, I've been working with the EC for years, and anybody who knows me will tell you that I have a very good cordial relationship with the EC, especially the chairperson. I have consulted for the EC for years. In 2020, the media consulted for them. We've done a lot of things together. But when I got it, even though I knew I can authenticate the document, I still fact check.
That's it.
Because we are in the era of digitalization and digitization, where AI is actually reigning. And so, you see, as we speak, NDC, there is a voice, audio going around, which the NDC has come to tout as fake. That it is dotted, it is AI voice of
generated,
whatever. And they are saying it's fake. Meanwhile, they have leaked another one, also purported to be Bawumia's voice. Saying a lot of things. So we should expect this, especially from now to Saturday, when all of them may be trying to use the social media, especially after FIF, when no one
is supposed to campaign.
Yes, opening and all that. These are things that will come. But what are we supposed to do? We know. Let's commend the Media Foundation for West Africa for coming up with the Fact Check Commission. Again, we together with the NMC, Primpac, GIBA, and other stakeholders have also launched what we call the Media App We Watch.
Okay.
You understand? Yes. The media, so that media app or the mobile app watch will help also fact check some of these things. Because all you need is to you have to download, go to your app store or Play Store or whatever they call it, Google app or whatever.
What is the name of the app again?
Is a mobile app store. Let me share with you. I think I know by now most of you might have seen it.
Yes, I was at the Media Foundation for West Africa event, and then the NMC mentioned the importance of the app and then why every journalist should be on that app. It helps us to cross-check stuff.
So we have been promoting this app because this app will help curb misinformation and disinformation. All you need to do, like I said, Media Watch app.
Media Watch app.
Sorry, Media Watch app.
Okay.
So Media Watch app. So the app will give you real-time information.
Okay.
So assuming on the election ground, you come, maybe a journalist come under threat or danger. All you need to do, make sure that you have the app on your phone. Or maybe a colleague of yours, whoever you're working with, the app. Just go to the app, just take a video or take whatever, send it to the app. At the back end, once it is received, we will know the time you sent, the date, and the location.
Okay.
So
you'll be able to trace the location.
Trace the location. The location comes.
Okay.
That is what we call the real-time information.
Okay.
So what it means is that you don't need to pick a phone because maybe you're under the air, you are not going to search for a number and dial. No. At that moment, you need, and it helps us preserve evidence. The one major challenge we face as journalists, as media, is preservation of evidence. We don't do well with that. Because most of them have dealt with a lot of attack cases where we suffer or maybe we struggle to get evidence to deal with the matter criminally. You understand? So, because evidence is the name of the game.
That's right.
If you don't preserve evidence, we will come, we will fight and all that. At a point, you give up because you need evidence to push it. even though you may establish a prima facie case, you still need evidence to support that prima facie case.
That's it.
And so this is something that we encourage members that look, we should take advantage of the app. We should take advantage of. We are going to also launch an emergency number.
Okay.
Emergency number.
We will take those when we are ending the show. But I want us to stay a bit on fact checking.
The fact. So on the fact checking, so with the app, so like I said, so give you the right time. Now, still on the app will also help you to ensure to combat this from fake news. Now, what you need to do is that just go to the app, whatever information you need to fact check, just put it there. Once you enter it, you put it there. The app will now fact check itself. So it means that if you want to now fact check any information, there's no need picking a phone to call the institution or to make a call. We have the system because it's a fact checking coalition, and we are linked. We have the fact checkers. There are fact checkers in the country. So as soon as the information comes, in the matter of in the brief moment or in the matter of, let's say, a few minutes, the system, the app will come back with the fact checking information. It will tell you whether the information you put there is credible or not credible. If it is fake information, it will give you the fake and the incredible news.
Okay. Now, let's talk about fact-checking still, because I'm worried about the proliferation of what we call the social media influencers on social media platforms. For me, it's like TikTok especially, where people just spread any kind of information at all, and people easily believe it. In this election period, I've seen so many things that, because I have been through a bit of fact-checking training, I know that these are fake, but my mother doesn't care. She's like, oh, mommy, but should I see and decipher you say you like, you know, for such people, how can the media help to protect such people?
So I think that, you see, first of all, we have always encouraged, we have always been preaching that the mainstream media, the traditional media, remains the only source of credible information.
That's right.
Because that is the reason why we exist. Now, when it goes to the foreign world, there are a lot, you see, the literacy rate is high, and people do not buy into some of these things. Now, from this side of the world, we have, you know, we are battling with illiteracy. We are battling with a lot of things. People do not even understand what is fact check. People do not even know where to even fall on, or like which medium to fall on for even credible news. So whatever they see there, whatever video, sometimes it's in the form of videos, the form of audios. You can see on TikTok. Most of the times you see the visuals, than even the scripted fake news or whatever. So what we are saying is that we are, you know, I initiated this New Media Association of Ghana. You know, it was.
I remember that was a launch.
Yes, and I launched it with the current Minister of Information, because that was one thing, one of my, in fact, commitment before becoming the president. I've met with the likes of Zion, Deborah, Ronnie's everywhere.
These are bloggers.
Yes, and I'm saying that they fall under the New Media Association.
Right.
Because the new media is very big. So bloggers, social media influencers, and all that, these are all new media. Now, having formed the association and having launched, one of their rule is to make sure that they fight against the space, that people who try to pollute and contaminate the space.
Right.
Because they know themselves. They know themselves more than any other person. Because there are a lot of people hiding behind fake accounts and all that, you know, perpetrating and all that.
Yeah.
So we have charged them to now bring to fore those people doing that.
Are they doing it?
No, they are helping a lot. They are doing that a lot. And we've also walked them through a lot of training. Recently, there was a training with the U.S. Embassy. You know, we have done the Journalists for Peaceful Discourse. That training, we gave them some quota. And we trained some of their members. There was also a specialized training that the U.S. Embassy also called all the social media influencers and bloggers. Which they were also trained. Just yesterday, I was at a training with Deborah and co. UNESCO and UN sponsored, was it a workshop or lunch or something? So I think that we are building their capacity. We are enhancing their capacity. Now, it is a free-for-all space. It's very difficult and very, very hard to actually sanitize that system. The only thing we can do as traditional media or mainstream media is to also be seen strongly and visible on that platforms. Because as we speak, like the guy, I saw your guy coming to position the camera well. Why? Because it will be at least
live on social
live,
media.
yes, streaming live on social media platforms. And so if we strongly appears, if we our presence as traditional mainstream media, like we have Starr, we have GH1, we have other strong media houses and all that coming strongly on TikTok and all that. People, when there is a fake news, when these people are perpetrating and falsehood and doing that and all that, at least there'll be a point of reference.
Okay.
Are you getting me? They'll compare it. And again, people will now come to realize and say that, oh, when something they see something, oh, my main call, let me go on EIB network, let me go on Starr FM or GH1 and confirm. Say, Starr phone car. Oh, Starr hasn't commented or hasn't said anything about that. We haven't seen Starr reported. No, recently there was a publication by Kokonsa, the president of the new media, that Sewamie has been arrested. You know,
the whole president.
The whole president of the media. See, even though we know that it was more or less like, you understand, it's the years ago and all that, but then we don't. The way he went about it, he could have just done it in a question form to do that as Sewamie arrested. That alone. So you are doing it. You have said, you are saying the same thing. You see, you want eyeballs, you want, people will now start, hey, like this picture is, so people will start now. But you don't just throw people in despair and say that now media broadcast or whatever
arrested,
so and so.
Reasons are unknown.
You understand, and so forth, which we all know. So what I'm trying to say is that we have huge task and responsibility as mainstream people from the mainstream media, traditional media, to make sure that our presence is felt heavily on the media.
Okay.
To curb those menaces.
Okay, I'm going to ask the last question before Kodjo Mensah comes in. Now, given what has happened with regards the communique from the EC seeking to restrict media operations during election day and whatnot, will the media really be given the chance to freely and fairly cover these elections?
Who can stop the media? If you want to stop the media, you have to stop me.
That's it.
If you can't stop me, how do you stop the media?
President.
Tell me. Not even the president of Ghana.
I'm just giving fans.
Oh no!
See, I mean,
it's because I've also followed, and I know where he's coming from.
We find ourselves in a democratic dispensation. The role of the media is boldly written and enshrined in the 1992 Constitution.
Certainly.
The independence and the freedom of the media cannot be what? It is non-negotiable.
That's right.
Even when we read the constitutional instrument on chapter 12 of the Constitution, it says very boldly that nobody can be an impediment in the way of anybody who wants to practice journalism. So if the Constitution says it, Constitution is the greater. Look, it is with the emergence of Constitution, all the laws falls below it and direct. Customary law, whatever law, whoever law, all comes after the Constitution. The Constitution is the supreme. And so what I'm trying to tell you is that if the President of the Republic cannot gag or cannot even prohibit or be an hindrance in the way the media does its work, or cannot stop the media from functioning,
how can they?
Nobody. And I've told you, and I made it very clear. I addressed the media. My position was made known. I said it point blank that whatever circular, whatever memo that was leaked outside, whatever of the engagement, I told you I had the interest of the media at heart. At the end of the day, we will get a result. At the end of the day, the media will get unfettered, and I use the word unfettered access. And we have unfettered access, don't we?
We do.
So what are you talking about?
So, Mr. President, let me quickly come to you on this. I mean, special voting. For many, it was a test case or a precursor to what we should expect on Saturday. Yeah. What is your assessment of how we performed for the coverage of the special voting?
I can say that from the part of the media, so far so good.
Okay.
In terms of performance, in terms of coverage, because you see, we all know, those of us who have actually covered elections from 2000, in fact, for over 2 decades, covered elections. Look, even though the stakes are high, even though there's so much tension and all that, look, the media has done so well to massage the nerves of politicians and all that. The country is still at peace. 3 days to elections.
Yeah.
The country is still at peace. Like by now, there's so much tension. You know that 2008 war drums.
Yeah.
You know, you could feel it.
Exactly.
You could feel from your ears, you could from media, where people put on war clothes and all that, where supporters or sympathizers of some political parties were amassing, singing, chanting one song.
And the vigilante groups
were playing. I remember Raymond Acha, and then and the team, you know, and then that time, you know, and then the other side, you see. So we have come far, and I can tell you that we are doing so well. And so for us, if we keep it up like this, I'm telling you. Look, did you hear of any attack on any journalists in the media during the?
There was actually.
It does not come to attention.
Well, it was one of our reporters.
It does not come to attention.
It was an attempt. They attempted to shake him a bit, and we should have reported
an
it.
An attempt to kill is not there.
It's not.
Are you sure?
No, is it? Yes. Let me be honest.
So it was the supporters who were just on him a bit.
Our job, comes with a lot of occupational hazard.
That's it.
The threats are there.
Yeah.
You see, I've been teaching on journalist safety and security in election reporting. In all the training we have had, we need to understand at that time. Look, when you go to the grounds, a police center or election ground, where you are supposed to go and discharge your work, but you don't do things that instigate. You will not do things that in extreme provocation. Always make sure that you don't repress, because at that time your life matters, and you need to live to tell the story.
Don't be the story.
Don't be the story. You are not supposed. You are not supposed to go and demonstrate. And I'm the journalist. I'm this.
And I know my rights.
I know my right. Look, at that time the GJ president is not there. At that time your boss is not there. I know my right. I know my right has led people to the grave. What it means is that you are there to discharge a constitutional mandate. You need to be able to defy all odds to make sure that your role or your responsibility there is duly achieved. That is what it is. And so, like I said, I commend the media. That so far so good, and we believe that. Look, with the because it is. We were here when I know there was a report of sharing of food influencing.
I also was welcome. And that was where our reporter was manhandled by the supporters.
You see? Of course, when something like this happens, you need to guard yourself. I will share some guidelines on pre-election preparation and all that, and even on election day reporting, what journalists have to do. I will, in fact, get you to the end. I'll run you through so that everybody will know what to do at the end of the day, because tensions are high, stakes are high. These are we call political gains. Don't be in the middle. Don't be in the center. Stay back. Sometimes you need to always make sure that you are close to even defense, or there should be your people should be around. You are close to some media, some journalists who may even rescue you in terms of danger. Or if there's even any war, you don't need to be in the midst. Someone can even hit you from behind.
In
the midst of crowd, you don't do that.
That's true.
Always guard yourself. Right. And so what we're saying is that, but the media was able to shed light on what we know to be darkness. You know, we understand the parliamentary candidate came out to deny and said nothing happened. But when the video came out,
we put out the video actually.
I get it. When the video,
side by side with what she said when she said that she has no idea, and then also she given out the.
This is a fantastic job.
Thank you.
This is what we need the media to do.
Yes, and my colleague his name is Nurain Abbas.
Nurain Abbas. Okay.
Yes.
Not to, you see, not any confrontation. Look, I told people, they were saying that, if they attack us, when they happen, when the people come to us, can we stand them, these politicians, the security? And I told them, we were not made to fight. We don't have the physical strength to fight. But you know, our weapons, the weapons we have, is mightier than the strength, than the guns, than what they have. All you need is to just make sure that you survive and you are able to pull through. And you see who suffers the consequences. We have the pen, we have the microphone. The pen is always mightier than the sword. We have the microphone too. You were in this country when we blacklisted certain politicians, and they came to beg.
Yeah.
They were arguing, they were going to court and all that. I even gave them lawyers. I mentioned some lawyers for them to use to go to court when I was already in the courtroom seated waiting for them. Wow. I went there to wait for them to come. The question is that we work with our clear conscience. If you're a media, if you're a journalist, and you have been compromised, you have been contaminated, you can't fight the system.
Right.
Okay.
When things goes wrong, you cannot stand.
We need to speak truth to power. And you've been doing that a lot. At the GJ Awards, you spoke truth to power. When you came, what did the president tell you?
What were you expecting me to say?
What did the president tell you?
What were you expecting me to say?
No, and that's what I'm saying. I'm commending you.
You have to commend me.
You spoke truth to power. But when you came back, what did the president tell you?
The president said you are doing so.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that.
The president said you were doing so well. But it didn't show on his face.
No.
On his face, it didn't show.
Look at your face. Look at your face. Were you there? The way you are acting as if you were there with me.
You see, wait. The thing is that we are all students of communication. We understand non-verbal communication.
So which one is the non-verbal? Which one is the non-verbal?
Kodjo Mensah, he gave a face like...
This one is a tactile communication.
I see.
From Bamia's voice. You and I were not there. Both of you were not there.
Yeah, and that's why we are asking. You were there. And that's the essence of journalism, to get it from the horse's own mouth.
I am telling you.
So President Akufo-Addo told you on record that you did well.
Please, I'm not ready to tell you what President said.
I see.
I will make that known at the appropriate time. But I can tell you that the President was not upset. Mm-hmm. He wasn't angry as people were portraying. It wasn't that. I get it. Yes, it wasn't that. We had discussion. In fact, the video, which was captured by my own boy G.H. Hyper, he actually got that end. Yeah. You see what the tail end. It got the tail end. Before that reaction, we were having a conversation.
Yes.
So I was responding to him with something he said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. And then that was so in my reaction, my response. Then he sat down. So that was this thing you said, yes. But then...
But he didn't say that you have done well.
You said?
He didn't say that.
He said you did well.
So he was not offended in any way by the fact that you went on stage and you just spoke truth to power. You said your words as you wanted to communicate. He was not offended at all.
What is the responsibility and the role of the media? Constitutionally, we are supposed to be the watchdogs of the people's right.
Exactly.
What are the rights? The two major rights of the citizens in this country is the human right and civic right.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if we feel that the right of the people is being infringed upon, if we feel that the people are not really, their rights have been taken from them, it is our responsibility. That's why we have the watchdogs. Mm-hmm. That's why we are the gatekeepers. You and I represent the eyes, the ears, and the mouth of the people. What the people cannot say, what the people see. We sit here and we advocate for development, for projects and other things, and it happens because the people they don't have the platform to do that. Mm-hmm. And so as the watchdogs of the right,
you become the mouthpiece.
You are the mouthpiece. Certainly. And so if they come, yes, because this was a topical issue.
Mm-hmm.
Look, issue of Galamsey is a major threat.
Yeah.
To national development and our democracy.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I come from a Galamsey area.
Prone area.
Mm-hmm. And you see, when I'm driving, it's not that somebody's telling me, if I'm driving to my hometown in Tutuwaa, and you see the devastated nature of our land and water bodies glaring at you, then you ask yourself, what can you do with your position? God has given you a position. Look, it is our godly responsibility to make sure we fight to end the impunity and menace of Galamsey, regardless of who's involved.
Okay.
And I can make this thing, I can re-echo it, I can say it, I can repeat it, make it known any day, any time, that Galamsey is wreaking havoc. And all of us have to come together collectively, because you and I, we have generations, we have children, we are coming up. In the coming years, in some few years to come, the repercussions,
right,
we are going to face it.
Definitely.
So briefly before Tutuwaa, you come in, Mr. President, if you had the opportunity, will you change anything about what you said on that night?
I don't see anything of what I said to change anything.
Excellent. We are wrapping up, and you said you had a few tips for journalists.
And the number to call.
The number to call.
So that when they abuse Noreen, Noreen will call the number quickly.
We just want to end on a safety note for journalists.
Yes.
So kindly run us
through. So I
tips.
think that there are a few things I'll run you through, and I think journalists must know that this is what I've been preaching all this while, and I hope that we'll do. Now, first of pre-election preparations. You see, you need to understand why it is important to do serious preparations before covering the elections. And as journalists, I think our role requires that we research potential hotspots.
Okay.
When we assign you, you need to know where you are being assigned to and understand the local laws and regulations and prepare emergency contact list. That if you are assigned to hotspot Tutuwaa, as you are seated there, when you are assigned to a place like Ododi, you understand, or any potential hotspot, the EC has released over
the number. It's almost as though every electoral constituency is a hotspot.
So
now.
when you understand, you have to.
I think there are over 1,000 plus.
Yes, you have to research the local laws and the system. Once you're able to do that, you prepare yourself adequately. Because if you're going to search hotspot, how do you even dress? How do you? First of all, you need to put on a helmet. You need to make sure that you're in jacket. You need to be well branded to be easily identified. You understand, to be easily identified, and also the things you need to even do when you get there. Again, you don't go into an election coverage without looking at these critical areas.
That's it.
Yes, and when you identify the hotspot, you develop the mechanisms to apply once you are deployed to cover the elections in those areas. You must also identify the character and attitude of the locals, there, especially the political actors. You know, there are some areas where, most of the times, these political actors or politicians, they stoke the fire. They actually instigate their sympathizers, supporters to do, and they'll be at the background pretending they don't know anything about it. So you go to area, and this time I don't want to use any area, but you can find yourself, especially in Accra, Yega area. Then you will see some area boys grouping, talking, acting. They've been, some of them, for all you know, they have been assigned and all that. So you go there, and then maybe in the midst of you'll be receiving calls. Then you say, oh, maybe things are not going on well here. I can feel that the process is fraud. This is this. Then you'll be saying on maybe private conversation or Charlie, the way I'm seeing the thing, party is winning from the look of things and all that. You might be in danger.
That's it.
You might be in danger. So you need to know that the character and attitude of the people. You understand? Like, there are among our guns and other things, when you do something, sometimes one is hey, quiet. You see, you need to stay guard. As soon as you see those things are coming, they are early signals. You stay guard. You need to understand. Then, physical safety. As journalists, you should be aware of your surroundings. You always try to keep a low profile and avoid displaying valuable equipment or jewelry. Election day. Or now, say.
Rolex.
Yes. I'm here Tutuwaa. You see, for instance, you don't wear an expensive watch or chain to an election ground, knowing very well running and squeezing yourself into crowded population could make you even lose those items. Make you lose those items. And because sometimes you are very conscious of the things you are wearing, even you will still be like thinking of the thing, hey, my watch will fall, my this will fall. You understand? And again, imagine you are conducting an interview with an important figure at the election grounds.
So we'll
and
just
not
like,
your sideways.
this and then the last one that we
yes, I know, yes, and the sideways. Some of the opponents of your interviewers may launch an unexpected attack at your blind side. Also, your form of questioning. This is a very tense situation. Stakes are high. Somebody's losing. Then go and ask, will you accept the result when you understand? Somebody's losing. Any brother. And then at that moment, you go and ask. So you don't actually ask provoking questions at that time. You understand? What is your assessment of the whole process? What do you take of it? You understand? And let the person share. Okay, so I think that these are a few things that we have shared.
And the emergency number.
The emergency number will be launched.
Okay.
Will be launched. Right. But the election day safety, I want to personally remind you that you should plan your movement, route, and transportation in advance.
Okay.
Most of the times, we go out there without planning our movement, with no enough resources. Try and stay adequately informed about the local terrain and its conditions, and be prepared for unexpected events or emergencies.
That's right.
I'm sure the incident of Techiman, Ayawaso West Wagon, among other, certainly come to mind. You could be assigned to anywhere. In election day, safety is very key.
All right.
Be resourceful, have enough on yourself. But I can tell you that, Tutuwaa, we have trained. We have trained. We have re-echoed the need for us to remain professional. We have prepared ourselves enough. We've laced our boots. We've informed the people. People are well positioned to inform and educate others. What we are saying is that let's remain professional. Let's discharge our work.
Certainly.
Ghana is the only country we have. Media, when you talk of media is democracy. An attack on the media is an attack on our democracy. And so let's help to protect our enviable democracy and the peace we are enjoying. Once we do that, when the tensions are high, when the stakes are high, you have the media massaging the neck of the politicians. And I can tell you that after 7th, that is before, during, and after elections, Ghana will surely be the winner.
Certainly.
Ghana will be peaceful.
Certainly. Thank you very much for speaking to us. We've been engaging Albert Kwabena Jumbo. He's the president of the Ghana Journalists Association. And that wraps up Start Today here on Star FM. Thank you very much for your company. I am Tutuwaa Danso. So this bulletin was produced by Benjamin Eko and Benjamin Saki and Prince Asian. And I also did this here with
Joshua Kodjo Mensah. And remember, at EIB, we are Election Hub. So stay tuned. If you don't want any misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation, stick to us. We'll give you the credible information.
We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good evening.